So today I want to talk about the upcoming interest group lobbying paper assignment. It is posted on Blackboard in a file folder, and the Dropbox for that assignment is there as well. This is worth 36 points total. Looking at about 2 pages, double space. For this assignment, things like correct spelling, punctuation, and grammar are important. So you've chosen a member of Congress to role play for the congressional simulation, and this person runs every 2 years for office. So what I need you to do is identify one interest group that supported your member during the November 2016 and 2018 elections. Contributors can be identified using opensecrets.org. And so I have created a setup here that will show us how we go about this. So I went to Open Secrets. I looked up Nancy Pelosi. She's Speaker of the House right now. And I was able to find information about her campaign. Now, if you look over here, you can see where the year is set. So for my example, I'm just going to go to 2018. I can see her PAC contributions right here. I can go down the page, see some more PAC contributions here. But what I'm looking for actually is not just the sector. See how this is health professionals, education, those are sectors. What we need for this assignment is actually to look at various contributors. And for the sake of time, I'm going to bring you to the page that's all sectors equal energy and natural resources, electric utilities. So you want to work through Open Secrets for the member that you're role-playing and get to the actual pages that list the actual amounts. And I can see that PG&E Corporation donated $10,000 to her in 2018. And so I've chosen that as the group that I'm going to look at for this assignment. Now, I've done some preliminary work here because not all groups will have enough information for you to complete this assignment. I've already checked that PG&E will meet the requirements of information I need to complete this assignment. So I did some web search. I just used my Yahoo search engine. Whichever search engine you want to use is fine. I was able to find quite a bit of information about PG&E. If you don't recognize it, PG&E is the electric company in California. And they have filed for Chapter 11 not too long ago. That will allow them to reorganize. So it's not complete bankruptcy, we'll never see them again kind of thing. But this has occurred because there's been a series of forest fires over the years in California, and some of them were started because of faulty equipment of this company. So I went to a web page and found information about the company. So for this assignment, you need to look at direct lobbying techniques and indirect lobbying techniques. And so I found on one of the pages that, and I typed in PG&E and lobbying, I found a variety of things that they were doing using just their own web pages. They certainly are advertising all kinds of things. And this would be an example of a direct lobbying technique. CEO participates in Senate Democrats' climate crisis meeting. So this is an example of members of PG&E meeting with members of Congress face-to-face, and so that would qualify. So you would want to write a few sentences about that particular activity. And then I found indirect as well. So one of the indirect was working with other groups. And when I followed through their pages here, I came down and said engagement with organizations including, and then I saw that they engaged with the Center for Climate and Energy Solutions. They work together. And so that was an example of an indirect relationship with another group, indirect lobbying technique. And so this information I've checked out in advance before I started writing anything. I just want to make sure I have the information that I need to answer those questions that are on the assignment. See if we can get that to come up. We got that to come up. So the instructions are fairly easy. Provide the dollar amount contributed to your candidate for 2016 and 2018 election cycles. OpenSecret.org is going to be the best source. The major financial contributors to the interest group. Well, that would be the PAC that PG&E formed, which then allows them legally to make contributions. So it's actually corporate money that's going. You want to make sure that you distinguish the difference between the corporation funding the PAC and maybe leaders well placed in the hierarchy of the company making private donations. We've talked about this before. We've looked at this on OpenSecret.org as well. You want to look at the group's constituencies, the people for whom they serve. Well, the PAC is really serving the corporate interests of that company. But you may choose a group, it might be a union, whose the constituency would be the union workers themselves. So you want to look at the group's central political issues, and on those pages that I showed you, I had no difficulty finding a variety of issues. Now this is really key. The issues need to be political in nature, not just issues generically, but issues that are political in nature, that they're looking to government for solutions to or supporting government legislation. So don't confuse that. And then the group's electoral and legislative lobbying strategies. And I want you to include both direct and indirect lobbying techniques. Now, I discussed that in an earlier lecture. If you miss that lecture, make sure you get the notes from a classmate. But this is a very important aspect of this particular assignment. So the assignment just goes through, explains some of the things that I'm interested in, but I want to caution you. Do not copy information from web pages and paste them into your paper. I will be looking for examples of plagiarism. Make sure that you're putting the information in your own words. And the other thing is you need to correctly use a citation method. And you can go to Purdue's OWL for instructions if you're not very good at it. And I want to also say that those programs, those apps that produce citations for you, almost all of them do it incorrectly. And so you can't come back and say, well, you know, the app did this for me. My expectation is you know how to correctly apply a citation method in your paper. And so you will put this assignment in the appropriate Blackboard Dropbox on the assignment due date. You can see that in the instructions I have a grading rubric here, and that will govern the point spread on your paper. So that pretty much covers all the issues, and as usual, if you want me to look at a paper in advance of handing it in for a grade, I'm more than willing to do it. Just don't wait to the last minute because I'm very busy, and so sometimes it may take me 24 hours. So keep that in mind. There we go. We're done with this.